Hi everyone. Yes, my dear CA final students, who is going to appear on January 5th, CA final financial reporting. Wish you the very best. I hope your preparation is on track. I wish the new year is going to be a beautiful year in your life with a professional qualification. Right. Come to the point. Let me share my expectations about CA final financial reporting. Right. Last 3.5 days or say 30 effective number of hours, what you should focus and what you should study to score approximately like say 70 to 80 marks. So right, I in my opinion, like in the last minute, it's very difficult for any student to read each and every concept of every accounting standard when you have Ind AS is around like 2,500 pages of data, so many complexities, so many small intricacies, and so much of linking between one standard to another standard. Obviously, it's going to be difficult, right? Let me share what is my what is my thinking and what is like, what am I expecting that where you should focus, right, to get maximum outcome in the 30 hours of the time available. Okay, let's start. See, in the 30 hours, that is what my allocation table says. You must master, which you know obviously very well. In days 109, that is in days 109 or 32 or 107 is all talks about the financial instrument. So generally, yes, 8 marks is like 8 hours you are supposed to spend. From there, you know, like up to 14 marks to 16 marks also. Even like say 10 to 16 marks is the 10 to 16 marks are going to come from that standard alone. That's why you need to spend good amount of time. Again here, what is the major focus, my dear? Yes, like sometimes they will be asking in different areas, but most of the time, correct, it is all about the present valuation of any financial asset or financial liability. Correct. Embedded derivatives, especially that is compound financial instrument, embedded derivative concept is obviously crucial. A financial liability is correct. Now, what is that? De-recognition of a financial liability, right? When the de-recognition is significant, right? I mean, what do you say? When you have restructured the loan, right? Is it crossing the 10% criteria? Then it is going to be significant. So, how are you supposed to account for? That is one area which can be tested. Embedded derivative, which I spoke, yes. And there is one more thing, financial guarantee contracts, which was asked in the past, but there is high chances of repeating the same thing, yes. And one more concept can be maybe for small marks like 2 marks or 4 marks related reclassification also can be one area which you need to focus. Done. And come to the next, consolidation, which is going to be a mandatory question, like continuously. If you see last 5 attempts or 6 attempts, if you see that mandatory question for 14 marks, yes, it's going to be like granted, which, right? So consolidation procedures, I mean, if you are purchasing in one shot or if you are purchasing in more than one shot, I mean, if you have achieved the control in more than, I mean, achieved in stages, how are you going to handle it? That can be one area where you need to focus. And otherwise, like it is linked to Ind AS 103, as you know. Ind AS 103 also very important from the point of view of like not number of marks wise. Number of marks wise, it's generally like 4 marks to 6 marks is what the question, but it is directly or indirectly interlinked to, right, Ind AS 110. That's why you need to focus both the standards, right, where you need to spend. My suggestion is to spend at least 6 hours, at least 6 hours. Yes, correct. It is 6 hours you need to spend on the consolidation, right? At the same time, my personal suggestion: don't start your paper with consolidation. Never ever start with that sum, because right, if it is for 14 marks, right, you are supposed to close the answer in approximately 20 to 25 minutes. You are supposed to close, and the number of intricacies, number of adjustments, and number of working notes we are supposed to perform, right, the 2025 will be very difficult. That's why first you clear your MCQs and you clear that 6 marks or 4 marks or 8 marks questions properly. Like first to pocket, right, minimum 40 to 50 marks. Yes, now you can start doing consolidation. Don't ever never start consolidation as first sum, because you never know. You may clear it in 20 minutes or it may lead you to 40 minutes. If it is going for 40 minutes, that means you are obviously consuming the time of the next question. Very, very dangerous to start with. Okay, because there are so many other questions which can give you a guarantee mark. Why should I look at this first? That's only the logic, otherwise nothing else. Okay, next. Ind AS 115 revenue. Yes, obviously, right here, number of intricacies are there, number of methods are there, right? So, but you need to focus, right? The important areas which you very well know. One is like bill and hold, that they can ask. Then right of return, correct? You have got 100% right to return whenever you want. That is one more concept they can ask. The agent and principal area, that they can ask, correct? And about the percentage completion, how do you determine the percentage completion? That is one more area, which these are the some 4 5 areas which can come in the exam. So just I wanted you to be thorough in these areas. And the second, impact, correct? Now this I told, like 4 hours of study would be more than sufficient. If you spend too much of this also is not that suggested. Fine. Okay. Then the next one, what is that? You need to have some level of depth, right? But not like too much of depth is also not that much required. But yes, required to some extent. Share-based payments. Yes, it is being asked almost every time, right? But yes, there was a gap in some number of attempts. I agree with you, and it is not a very difficult standard as such. Correct. Now, most of the times either related to SAR is going to come, or it is related to modification of the ESOPs are correct. Equity settled can come. Okay. One time, the quick revision of group share based payment, that the parent company has given the ESOPs to the subsidiary company employees. How to handle that? It, but yes, still you just need to have a relook at it, right? All this can happen. You can solve one master class sum or two sums if you solve it. No, for SAR1 and for the modification of ESOPs, if you solve it, no, that's it. That is more than sufficient. 3 hours also will be very sufficient to handle this. Okay, done. Next, Ind AS 36. Yes, it is not going to be asked every time, but generally what is that they are doing? They're trying to interlink it with one big sum. So this standard, I feel like you need to have some idea, especially with the concept of CGU and goodwill. Correct. Now, with respect to goodwill, the concepts, as you know very well aware, I am not here to teach you once again the concepts, but overall, if I see, the goodwill is arising from the business combination, whether the goodwill is allocated to a particular one or two or more than one CGUs, or it is not allocated but it is related to some set of the CGUs. Correct. So under this circumstance, what are you supposed to do? That can be asked. Correct. Now, if your luck is good, or like it can come for 6 marks also, or it can be asked as a 2 marks. One MCQ question may also they can try to test you. Okay, right. And Ind AS 105, this has been asked, I mean, not so frequently, but it is, I'm expecting that it can be asked soon, right? So that's what my expectation, but don't need to spend too much of time. Correct. This you just need to spend 2 hours of time. That will be more than sufficient, right? One question like which is there in ICA textbook also, correct. On the day, like you have a disposal, disposal group. Is disposal group related sum? On the date when it is classified, first you need to apply the respective standard, and once it is classified, in days 105 standard should be applicable. Subsequently, what is going to be applicable? Correct. So that same point. And one more small point with respect to discontinuing operations. If you spend some time, maybe like half an hour out of 2 hours, half an hour you spend for this discontinuing operation, 1.5 hour with respect to non-current assets held for sale, that will be more than sufficient for your examination, right? Next, if I say tier 3 related, yes, it can be like directly short question, maybe 4 marks to 6 marks can come, or it can be integrated with respect to MCQs and etc. But yes, that which we already spoke, Ind AS 103, yes, Ind AS 40, Ind AS 40 linked with Ind AS 16, that can come up. Ind AS 16, Ind AS 16, right, even though I have not written here, correct, Ind AS 16 also, sorry, Ind AS 16 with Ind AS 40, I want you to spend some time. It's going to be very, very, very useful and very much expected for your examination. Okay, right. So that is one. And yes, this time, I mean, again, for Ind AS investment property, 1 hour would be more than sufficient, my dear. Right, but Ind AS 16, Ind AS 16, you, yes, even though it's not written here, yes, you should spend at least 2 hours of time, especially with respect to present. Link it with in right 37 Ind AS 37 provision for dismantling. That question can be, I mean, provision for dismantling or provision for restoration, whatever the word you use, right? That also can be asked. Please spend some time on that. Agriculture, yes, 1 hour will be more than sufficient, right? You find some two master questions in Ind AS 41. That will be very helpful. I'm expecting, because recently not been touched, but yes, it is going to be touched. Right. These standards, Ind AS 1, Ind AS 8, Ind AS 10, correct now, plus Ind AS 37, I would like to add. These standards would be at least 1 hour, not even 1 hour each. Totally put together is equal to maximum 2.5 hours, 2 to 2.5 hours if you spend, no, that also will be more than sufficient. So first focus on these areas. My suggestion is that, okay, later, yes, I still have got some more time. Yes, why not? You can read the other standards also. Wish you the best. Wish you a wonderful year and colorful year. Right. See you soon.